Hi everyone, welcome back into Primetime TV show. We're excited about another great part of our series, our Lives Rebuilt series. Today is actually part 5. And welcome back again, all these wonderful live shows with all our wonderful guests. How are you doing there, Mr. Dennis Kelly?
I couldn't stand it any more fun.
Well, get ready, because we are going to rock and roll our show today. I'm your host, Barbara Marville-Kelly, and with me is my husband, Dennis Kelly, and we have committed to Lives Rebuilt, because that's actually what we're doing in our own personal lives, and we want to give you an opportunity to do the same things. In crazy times, it creates crazy more times, and we're trying to diffuse that with different things that we've been doing after doing a lot of research, talking to a lot of really powerful people that are in the know as to what we can do to help ourselves live amongst this COVID and all the stress that goes along with it, and really learn how to master the mastery way when it comes to discipline, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to the know-how, and just what you want to dream for your life. You can dream big. In fact, we have some very big dreamers in the show today that have accomplished a lot, from one age group to another, and I can't wait to show you these videos. One, we've been actually opening our show with Master Louise Zeller. And Master Louise Zeller is actually one of our dear friends from, what, 20, 25 years ago?
Something like that. Time goes by so fast, it's hard to tell.
And it's really interesting because Master Louise Zeller and Master Kelly, my husband, have known one another for all these years and actually kind of walking the same lifestyle, right?
Right.
As a master in Tai Chi and Qigong and the martial arts, winning the world titles that you have. And Mary Louise, I had no idea that she has won 9 times in the martial arts. And it all started with a tragic accident in her life that led her to not only learning how to master her life, but taking the skill sets and teaching others in living a beautiful life today, with a very good ending in this video clip. But get a Kleenex ready, because it's going to move you, I promise. And we'll be right back with Mary Louise in the studio in just a moment.
The story of Mary Louise Zeller is one of finding confidence by becoming more internal. Her struggle began when her 18-month-old son fell from a 2-story window and was critically injured.
I was depressed. I cried a lot. I could be driving down the road and I'd start crying. The baby held me together. I had to take care of him. Well, one Sunday morning, I was reading the newspaper and I saw an ad for Taekwondo. And it said, to improve focus and concentration, of which I had none. It said to strengthen self-confidence, of which I had none. I mean, if you can't keep your own child safe, how good a mother are you? I mean, it's like my self-confidence was shattered. So, and then I was way overweight and out of shape, and it said get fit. So I said, wow, that sounds like more fun than running and weightlifting and aerobics. And so I answered the ad, and I was just going in to check it out in Master Kim in Vallejo, California. He handed me a uniform. He says, here, put this on. There's something about the way a master says, here, put this on. You go, oh, okay. I wasn't going to do that, but okay. And he taught me a lesson. He said, come back tomorrow. So I did. And I noticed that I felt more alive. And the more active I got physically, the more settled my mind got, the more settled my emotions got. The first 2 weeks, my muscles were so sore, I slept in the bathtub. Really. It was the only place I could sleep. I had to bounce down the stairs on my bottom, crawl up them. I don't know how I kept going, but it gave me a feeling of being alive again. It gave me hope. It did give me self-confidence. The ad was true. People told me I was too old. I started when I was 44. And I was too old, especially when, okay, you're going to compete. The first time Master Kim said, I want you to come to a competition, I thought he meant the mommy things, cheerlead, drive, make sandwiches, you know. And he says, oh no, you will compete. It's the same thing, give you a uniform, put it on. I go, oh, okay, I'll compete. And I was terrified, I couldn't even get a deep breath. And I just did it anyway. And after it was over, I was like, wow. It was like being in high school again, getting on the bus, going to the basketball game. But I lost every match I fought for 2 years. You'd think you would just get discouraged and quit. But I finally went out there, instead of holding back, trying to stay safe. This is full contact Taekwondo. We wear protective gear in the Olympic style, but it is full contact. So I was trying to be safe. Well, you can't win trying to be safe. You can be safe trying to be safe, but you can't win. So I just got out there and I was going, I'm not losing one more time. I'm gonna win this match. And that poor opponent of mine, I went after like a banshee. She was like, oh my gosh, somebody dragged this grandmother off of me. You know, so, and from then on out, I saw that I had something to do with it. Somewhere along the line, I said, I want to go to the Olympics. I'm sure that God has a sense of humor now, because to give me a desire to go to the Olympics when I'm, 55 years old, that's a sense of humor. And everybody thought I was ridiculous. But you know what? I gave them a run for their money. In the South, they'll say, it's better to shoot for the moon and hit the fence than to shoot for the fence and hit the ground. So I shot for the moon. I got 4th in the 18 and over division in full contact fighting, which requires speed, strength, stamina, endurance, amazing quickness. It is a sport of quickness. You really have to have a big dream to be alive. Power and passion in life live in that domain. The power of being internal is to actually be at the source of power. When I'm making a difference, I'm happy. If I can inspire you, look, you don't have to look forward to drooling in an old folks' home when you get older. When I'm 80, I'm gonna be on the mat in some form or fashion. Some mat, like whatever your mat is. I'm gonna be on the mat, playing the game. What I would like to leave you with, the one thing, is something that your coach will tell you, leave it on the mat. When you go out, when you go out to give it all, and you gave it all, it is so rich. Leave it on the mat. So when you think you don't have anything left to give, you've got everything to give. Leave it on the mat. Leave it all. Don't leave this life without leaving it all. Just give it.
So if that little clip isn't enough to inspire you and motivate you and give you hope in the worldly times that we're in right now, I don't know what is. And yes, I've shown that. I've opened the show for the last 3 or 4 weeks with it because it's very impactful, and I want people to understand that we're all giving our hearts to you. And one of the things that we want to really stress is that we don't bring anyone on our show just to have a guest. We bring people on that really does have the credibility and the credentials and background. If we're bringing out products, these are people that have done their research as we have, and there's always a story behind these people that come on board. And now it's really great to present Mary Louise Zeller live and unrehearsed from Utah. And welcome back again.
Thank you so much. I love to come and play with you guys.
I know.
Anytime.
It's so great to have you with us too, and you're looking good as ever. We changed it up a little bit today as far as talking about the athletes, but it's really important for people to understand that athletes are kind of like in a class over here by themselves because of the discipline that both you and my husband have had to really muster through. For how many years? How many years were you in the martial arts?
About competing 25.
25 years. And you, my husband?
About 40.
About 40 years. That takes a lot of discipline, doesn't it? Discipline.
That is that is the fundamental aspect of, I think, any accomplishment, anything that you accomplish in life that is of any import. It's going to be with daily discipline over years.
Yes, yes. And that spills over into your daily life, even when you're not doing the martial arts, correct?
Absolutely. And you know, Barbara, that breakdown of Adam's accident, sometimes a breakdown, if you're watching for it, can be life-changing and be the foundation of a breakthrough, a real life breakthrough. And that's what that accident was for me. And, you know, with that, I sought out to study the martial arts just to regain my self-confidence and ability.
And he's turned out to be, well, how old is he now? And healthy and just fine, right?
He's just fine. He's 32 and thriving, photographer, filmmaker, and doesn't remember his accident.
Well, that's kind of good, right?
Good.
So let's talk about how we all kind of circled back together after so many years and how you brought this product line to us and why we're doing this today. Now, as I've said before many times, people bring to us products and gadgets and widgets and whatnots and want us to get behind it, and we're very, very selective on who we work with and who the company is and what is the efficacy of the products and what kind of science is behind it. Are there clinical studies? So when you brought this to us, we couldn't find anything wrong with it. So you didn't even twist our arm. When you said, would you like to try the products? We're going to send you some. We said yes, didn't we, hon?
Absolutely. It didn't take time, did it?
It didn't take time at all. And it didn't take time for us to actually feel the benefits. And in the times right now with the COVID, this has become like a household word anymore, unfortunately. But these are products that we've been taking since April and have been noticing an amazing difference. I'm going to turn this part over to you, Mary Louise, so we can go through the triangle of health, which is your sunrise, sunset, and the Nitro FX and the Extreme. And then if we have time, we're going to hit on the HL5 and the Fit 20, because then we're going to bring in a very other special guest as well.
Great. You know, again, I just have to say that God did it. I had a friend of mine who is also a world-class athlete, and he and I wrote a book together about supplementation for health and high performance. I didn't even start Taekwondo until I was 38 years old. And that's a sport where the average age is 16 to 25 in national and international competitors. So I was always, my background is in biology. I was a research biologist and worked in cancer diagnosis and research for about 25 years also. And, you know, with that background in science and sports, I was always looking for supplementation protocols that was going to give an older body more energy and that I could stand up to the training of 6 to 8 hours a day, intense training. And, you know, running stadium stairs and weights and then training technique for hours on end. It just is unusual at that age. And even at the age of 64 years old, I was still on national team and technique and forms. And I was, 58 years old when I was still competing full contact, like I said, in a sport that required speed, endurance, and that you usually don't speak about in the same sentence with being 58 years old. So, when I got introduced to the Kyani Triangle of Health, I was literally priding myself in the protocol of supplementation that I was doing. But could I measure any results? No. But my friend, the world-class runner, he sent me, and my co-author on that book, sent me the products, the Triangle of Health. So Kyani has this 3-part supplementation program that actually has taken all of the guesswork out of supplementation. I was, studying the science of supplementation since I was 25 years old. And like I said, prided myself on that. But this simple program gave me measurable results. Inside of 4 days, my knees that had hurt me for 10 years, which after intense training, I'd have to go in ice for, an hour and just deal with the pain in my knees. after 4 days, the pain was gone. And I suffered with migraine headaches all my adult life. And I noticed at the end of the first month, I hadn't had a headache and haven't had one since, and now 12 years. So the results are there. I noticed my endurance was up. I noticed my brain was operating quicker, clearer. I noticed my emotions were more stable. I was sleeping better, sleeping deeper, sleeping less at night, and getting up feeling more rested. Energy solid all day long. So I was like, what do we have our hands on here? These were real results. These were results you could measure. I can literally double my repetitions with weightlifting. Same weight, never had been able to do 20 reps with 20-pound bicep curls ever before at any age, and could do that using our nitric oxide precursor. So what was this triangle of health? Well, the first product I'll call superfood nutrition, based on the wild Alaskan blueberry, #1 ingredient, which Tufts University did a study and discovered that of all the fruits and vegetables, exotic or common, the domestic farm blueberry was by far the strongest antioxidant ever tested. And the wild Alaskan blueberry is anywhere from 5 to 10 times stronger than the domestic farm blueberry. And we all know they call that the brain berry. And there's just so many benefits to the blueberry, the anthocyanins, and it's just a brilliant food, a superfood. But from the wild Alaskan blueberry that had endured in a tundra that has temperatures go 100 degrees below zero in the winter and months on end without sunshine. So it is an adaptogenic plant, and we have stress in our lives, so that helps our body stay strong in the face of all of this stress. To that superfood, they searched the world for 22 other superfoods. We've heard of acai berry, mangosteen, amla berry, maki berry, goji berry, and you name it, and it's in there. And then all the common ones too: raspberry, pomegranate, cranberry, grapes, grape skin, grapeseed extract, all your vegetables. And these are extracts. That's beyond concentrates. And it is like the equivalent of 25 pounds of food in this little 1 ounce packet. Sunrise, you just, whip and sip, and 1 time a day in the morning. And then sunset, this is based on wild Alaskan, again, sockeye salmon. Some of the purest, coldest water left on earth is in Alaska. And you want to first make sure that a supplement is safe. And this is. And then you want to make sure that it is effective. So these wild-caught fish in Alaska that has no measurable heavy metals in the water, so we want to make sure it's safe, and then yet potent, and it is, because wild-caught fish are swimming, and that's important to a high level of omega-3, and we need omega-3 for our cardiovascular health and brain health. And then they added to it a plant seed extract from the annatto bush down in Ecuador, and that is a fraction of vitamin E called delta-tocotrienol. And that, my friends, is a breakthrough. And I'm a biologist, so I have never once said any kind of food-based supplement, and these are clean and green food-based supplements, was a breakthrough in cardiovascular health, brain health, immune system health. But if you go to PubMed for public medicine, pubmed.gov, or NIH, National Institute of Health.com, and you put in the search box tocotrienols, this fraction of vitamin E, delta-tocotrienol, gamma-tocotrienol, and this is 100% tocotrienol in this product. And you'll see the cardiovascular health benefits, helping to normalize blood pressure, helping to normalize your cholesterol, lipid profile, and even reduce inflammation in the human body, help your body have a healthy response to the inflammation issues that are so prevalent in today's world. So that product alone helps protect the body at cell level from radiation damage. All of that information is right there online for you to read the science behind that product. So helping cardiovascular health, brain health, immune system health, that runs the whole show in the human body. But our third product in this triangle of health, the nitric oxide precursor product, in other words, it's not nitric oxide in the bottle. It gives your body the elements necessary to produce its own nitric oxide. Your body always could. Columbia University calls nitric oxide the molecule of life. 1 part oxygen, 1 part nitrogen. What's so important about that? We're a nitrogen-oxygen planet, and so is our body. We can live 5 minutes maybe without oxygen. You can't live 5 seconds without nitric oxide. It is simply put a vasodilator, so it's very important. There was a Nobel Prize given in 1998 proving the importance of nitric oxide, that it is fundamental to cardiovascular health. But it's a vasodilator, simply put, and it's also a neurotransmitter or a signaling molecule, and that's how every cell and system in your body communicates as a unified organism. Every thought in your brain only happens in the presence of nitric oxide. And after the ripe old age of 25 years old, just like human growth hormone, that production, natural production in your body, diminishes by 10 to 15% every decade of life. So by the time you're 60 years old, that's why older people have more cardiovascular issues, why they have more brain dysfunction, dementia, Alzheimer's, all those issues with memory. So Columbia University literally calls it the fountain of youth. So that is a product for me that, again, is a breakthrough in human health. The Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme, along with the Kyani Sunset, for me, are products that are literally a breakthrough in human health, in the cardiovascular health, brain health, and the overall health of the immune system. And all that research is right there for the reading.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the breakthrough, because that is a buzzword when it comes to getting someone's attention. When you have a breakthrough in anything whatsoever. I brought this book out. This happens to be No More Heart Disease by Dr. Ignero, who won that Nobel Prize. And I would highly recommend that anyone out there, whether you're thinking of trying these products for the first time or you just want to educate yourself, get this book. It's on Amazon. It's a paperback book, and it's such an easy read, but we're still learning things just from this book. So Mary Louise, thank you for sharing that. There's so much more to even learn, especially when you can identify after taking the products. And I know that building the protein in our body is also beneficial, and we're going to talk about the HL5 and the FIT20, but I want to turn to Master Kelly here, because you have had some very serious benefits from taking not only all the products, but when you started taking the HL5, which was a little bit down the road, because we like to try one product at a time and then make notes and journal and see what's working and when and how. So talk to us about all of that.
I could, if I had 2 free hours, I could fill over 2 free hours.
I know you could.
It's an amazing product. Not only that it tastes good and it's simple to take, it is so important to realize that our nitric oxide in our body is very limited. They found a way to keep it going for 4 hours. As a result, every organ in the body gets touched by this wonderful product. The other thing is, going to the sport part of what we're doing, it's a great metaphor for life. When you're a world-class athlete, you have a big responsibility. That responsibility is to set yourself as a role model for the children, for the adults that still act like children sometimes, and they can't get their way. And I know when I got involved in the martial arts, it was so important because I had so many hang-ups. I was overweight. I had a very poor self-image of myself. And this product, along with my determination and everything else, if I wanted to come back and compete at 82 years of age, I really believe I could. I'm not going to, because my wife would divorce me if I did. But that's the extent that this has done. How many 82-year-old men do you see that will be able to do that? So it's not that I'm bragging on myself, I'm bragging on the product, the purpose of it, the dynamics of it. There's enough metaphors here for life. So anyway, that's my story.
Well, I appreciate that. And the HL5, I noticed after not that long of a time, that your muscles were coming back, because we've all been under quarantine lockdown, the gyms are closed, and he does some massive workouts even at 82, and we just have my rinky-dinky 10-pound weights, right? So he's using the furniture, the walls, he's doing everything he can, the fountain of youth exercises and the rebounder, and we'll do a whole show on the rebounder sometime. But you know what? Unless you're feeding your body, your cells, and how can you get the energy? How can you get the stamina? Not to mention our mental clarity and keeping ourselves at a high frequency level, right? So we don't fall to all of this stuff that's going on out there. We have to take that responsibility and lead by walking our talk, right?
Right. Well, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Very true. It's so very, very true. And you're a walking example. Thank God for you being a walking example, because for anyone tuning in for the first time, just to let everyone know that he did take a fall on an uneven sidewalk on May 22nd. We started the products in April. And thank you for everybody's prayers off of Facebook, friends and family, because he had his CT scans. Everything is clear in his brain. His stitched up hand is all healed. And I mean, we're not making any claims to diagnose, cure, or anything like that as far as diseases go. But for 82 years old, I do believe that you are Superman.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know
I do.
I know that I would recommend these products to anyone. The Sunrise, Sunset, and the nitric oxide are one of the greatest things that ever happened to myself, because I healed quickly from that.
I know.
And I didn't labor in the pain of it, because within a short period of time, all the pain was gone, and the problem on each side of the brain had dissipated.
Yeah.
And just took off.
And you don't need a whole lot of products. Mary Louise, we have a couple of minutes before we bring Emily on to the platform on center stage. Give us a quick little rundown on the HL5 and the Fit 20 and what you have found in your training, because you've been taking these products even while you were competing.
Absolutely. It's not surprising that Grandmaster healed very quickly, because collagen protein is next to water, the most abundant molecule in our body. Our tissues are made up of this collagen protein. And as we age, that diminishes and we have muscle loss. So again, these products are clean and green. HL5 is a hydrolyzed beef protein, bone broth protein, and collagen. So it's hydrolyzed collagen protein. And then the Fit 20 is a blend of the beef bone broth protein and whey protein. Now, usually whey protein I would have a problem with, but this is lactose-free, sugar-free. You can buy proteins on the market. There are hundreds of products, and even a big old canister like that, and you'll read the label. And it's got a lot of questionable additives and chemicals, you can't even pronounce the names, and all kinds of fillers and even sugar. Well, this has no sugars, and it's sweetened with monk fruit and stevia and natural plant sweeteners. And it's very, very good tasting. A lot of proteins have a bad texture. And that always, for me, it was difficult because I could barely gag it down. Whereas this is so good tasting, it makes you think you're having something you shouldn't. But it is that quality of protein. And again, clean and green and natural food-based, but it has the science and technology that is leading edge. So Kyani's products are literally the best of nature, but also science, and making it absorbable at the cell level. And that's important too. So we have all that technology and formulation for this to be absorbed. It is whey protein isolate and hydrolyzed proteins and collagen protein. So your body is going to use it, probably 100% of it. They say 97 to 100%. But you'll notice with HL5, energy, skin, hair. I mean, I'm 76 years old, but I am never guessed at 76. People might think I'm in my late 50s, early 60s, and they guess me at that all the time. I don't mind it a bit. I think feeling energetic and being well, having your cardiovascular system healthy and your immune system healthy, energy and function, and all of that is so very important. But looking good's right up there too. So I don't mind. It really has improved the quality of my skin, hair, nails, everything. You know, having that regeneration, like Grandmaster's talking about muscle regeneration. At his age, impossible. But impossible is just, you know, normal for these products with Kyani.
You know, that is so true. It is. And my husband says, what is it that you say when people get older and they fall into that precog, whatever that big
Deepak
word.
Chopra said the premature cognitive commitment. When we see people growing old at a certain age, we feel we need to grow old. Subconsciously, a lot has to do with it, but even consciously. So a very important part is what you're thinking and what you're putting in your mouth and what you're putting in your head is so important when you want to be a world champion. And not just, the metaphor there is great because of the fact that, anyway, the fact that it's something that is beneficial not only for you but for your loved ones.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing here. All of our loved ones, our friends, and speaking of friends, we have a special young lady coming on board here today that everyone just falls in love with Miss Emily, as you, Mary Louise. We met Emily through you and our power team, our legacy team that we meet every day, mastermind group, and Emily is an excellent marketer. But I must tell you, she is also an amazing, beautiful dancer, a professional dancer, and we're going to go ahead and bring Emily on here in just a split second, unless we can go to her video, because I can't wait to introduce her and have us all share what these products have been doing for us. And if you have that queued up, guys, let's go ahead and show her dancing, because I want to see it again.
For our finalists. So up in our first spot doing the waltz, let's welcome our first finalist, 104, Mikhailo Enufiev and Anna Pietrinska.
And we're going to go ahead and introduce Emily right now, and then we're going to cue it up and have Emily show you her dance, the foxtrot, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's say hi to Emily, and there she is, and talk about the epitome of beauty, talent, and health. Welcome onto the show.
Well, you are the company you keep, right? So thank
Oh,
you
very
guys so
good.
much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited.
Well, good. It's exciting to have you here, and now I did not know, and neither did my husband know, that you have been on the Kyani products for 6 years. And so that has been during the time that you have been dancing, correct? And you and your husband are in the top, what was it that you told me the other day?
We're the top 50 in the world as of 2019.
The top 50 in the world. So let's guess. What are the secrets? And you own your own dance school and are committed to the kids, too.
Yes, we do a lot of work with the future generation of dancing. That's where we put most of our focus in terms of training and coaching. As far as our own dancing and physical development, you're absolutely right. The products have absolutely been fundamental in our training regimen and keeping us healthy. When you work with kids, as you can imagine, they're full of germs. So a lot of us that are teaching are struggling to stay healthy because we're around them every day for extended periods of time. So our immune system, I really believe, could not be stronger, which is so paramount, especially in the times that we're living in right now. I can't speak more highly of that aspect of the product. I honestly cannot remember the last time that my husband was even sick.
Really? And
so, yeah.
and he's been on them for 6 years as well?
6 years every day.
That is amazing.
He's more on it than I am. I can tell you for sure, every single day for the last 6 years, he's taken his Kyani. I take one product and the other one, so I'm not as consistent with all three of the Triangle of Health. What I do stay consistent with is the Nitro, because that is really something I cannot live without. And recently, we've started with the HL5, and that has really changed how I feel physically. And the Nitro just puts such help and focus into what we're doing and what we're able to do, and really extend that period of time, as Master Kelly and Mary Louise would, I think, agree with. Keeping focus for the extended period of time in terms of practicing, whether you're spending 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the dance studio or in a training gym, your mental game is, in my opinion, 80% of the battle. Your body will do whatever your mind tells it to. So as long as you're staying focused, you can do anything.
You know, that's so true. Tell us what the Nitro has done for you, having been on these products for 6 years, and the focus and concentration alone. But this product is something in a plethora of a small group of products that really stands out among anything that we've ever taken.
Yeah, I very often refer to the Nitro as this magic potion.
I love that.
It's, you know, the first time I took it, an extra dose was at a recommendation of Mary Louise. A couple of years ago, she had mentioned to my mom to try to increase, you know, my ability physically when in the training process. So I did a triple dose of the Nitro before what we call rounds, which is a simulated competition practice. So you're dancing as you would at a competition with the same length of songs and a very minimal break in between dances to increase your endurance and your stamina. And when I was about to start to practice, I turned to my husband and I said, something is happening. This is how people who, you know, take drugs say that they feel. I had like this hyper focus and this almost really out of body experience that I just had such a heightened sensitivity to movement, to sound. I heard the music differently. I was able to perform at a completely different level than I was used to. And it completely changed my view of these types of practices, which were usually extremely taxing. I was tired by the end of the first dance, and this we did, I think, 3 rounds beginning to end, and I felt great. So that, and this product is so incredible because there's nothing in it. You know, there's no caffeine, there's nothing to, you know, shoot your heart rate up or cause a big crash. I felt great the next day. I mean, obviously you feel the muscular fatigue, but, you know, you don't want to really die. So this is, I mean, it's just an incredible use of nature to just support the human body in a way that it works absolutely naturally.
And everything you said is so very true, and another key word is it's safe. It's very safe to the point that you're able to give it to your kids that you're teaching, right?
Yes, yeah. We introduced it to them for the first time at a competition, the American Dance Sport Festival, which is held in Miami. And this was a couple of years ago where they tried it for the first time. But just to tell you, you know, the efficacy of it, this was the first day that they had ever taken the product, and it was a comp day. They had never practiced with it. and their energy was up. They felt great after they were competing. Their focus was there. And many of them performed into the final, into the top 3 in their category. So it was a great experiment that turned out really well, and they use it for practice. We train, in a regular fitness traditional way in terms of running and jump rope and, training with light weights, especially for kids. It's important just to use their body weight. And this product, it lets them do more. It gives them the ability to really push themselves mentally and physically in an absolutely safe way.
I'm so glad to hear that, especially for the kids, because there's not a whole lot out there for them. And I love listening to you talk about this, because I know dancing is your passion, and to be able to give that relief and release to our children of tomorrow, what a wonderful way to do that and help them with products that can help balance them out overall. I want to go to your exact video of you dancing. I just love watching this, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more with Mary Louise and Master Kelly. We'll be right back.
Wisnowski and Emily Thorpe.
Take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart in.
Daniel Wisnowski and Emily Thorpe. And let's welcome our judges and our finalists to the floor, please. And couples, your first dance, the waltz.
And the other thing is, I had mentioned earlier on in the show, is we wanted to bring the youth into this show today, because we want everyone to understand that, gosh, we were talking about just before the show, imagine what you could have done, hon, in the martial arts. And I mean, you pulled off 6 world championships, and the last one at age 78. But imagine what you could have done 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah, I've often thought about that.
Yeah.
Because not that I regret it.
Exactly.
But it would certainly have added a lot more to the program. I would heal quicker. Some of the matches I fought were very, very close. It could have made the difference.
I know.
It's like a high-performance automobile.
I know. I wouldn't be surprised towards the end of the year you might start saying, I think I need to come back out of retirement again. I'm even waiting for Mary Louise to even think about the same thing. I think they both could, but they probably had enough by now.
I don't know. I miss it.
Been there, done that, got my t-shirt.
Got your t-shirt.
Guyani's my game now. I love a global game like Guyani.
It is. And there's something else that I wanted to mention, too, is when you're competing, that these products are NSF certified, which is National Sanitation Foundation, which means that if you are an athlete and you know what has happened in the athletic world, even though we're having challenges with it right now, an athlete is an athlete. If they get tested, they will test clear with these products and still have the benefits.
No stimulants in it. And as Emily talked about it being safe for kids.
Yes.
There was a 3-year-old one time that got hold of a bottle and drank it all, and the mother called very concerned, and the doctors watched the child and had absolutely no untoward effect, other than she said it was the best behaved the child had ever been.
Oh my goodness.
That a whole bottle every day, but she was definitely going to put him on it.
See, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing these shows, is bringing people like yourself onto the platform. We use this as our platform to educate people, because you walk into any health food store or what have you. First of all, I don't know how well trained people are, but with the knowledge with Mary Louise and being a biologist for how many years?
For 25.
25 years, and you've also done cancer diagnosis and research. And so you've got a little bit of information there in that noggin of yours, and we tap into that a lot, don't we?
Absolutely. And when Emily was talking about what I call nitro up, just taking, before I would go out and compete, I would take a dropper full, and then every 15 minutes up until the time I go in, I would take another dropper full. And by the time I would get out there, just like Emily talked about, colors were brighter. I was more focused, more aware of everything. And boy, is that important in the martial arts too, of being totally aware of what's going on around you. But it's been outstanding for kids because my youngest son Adam has had an attention deficit disorder, was diagnosed with that, and which is why he's 32 and just graduating from college. It's taken him a while.
It's okay.
But his focus and concentration, I tried everything other than drugs. I wouldn't put him on drugs, and it would just take so long working with him to get the homework done and everything as he was coming up. But even in college, he still was struggling and would only, take 1 to 2 courses per semester. But now he's making A's and B's and works totally on his own and able to take 3 and 4 classes every semester. So it makes a huge difference. Even I've seen other kids too, with some of my friends putting their kids on it, that it really, really improves focus and concentration for kids who actually even have problems with it.
And today, I'm not knowing how the world is affecting our children. Some are going back to school, some aren't, some are being homeschooled, and there's so many different schools of thought. I'm guessing that one of the best things that we can do for our kids today is to help them with their stress levels and to be able to take products that are safe. I want to ask you ladies about the age group that they can start at. I have a 6-year-old grandson.
Well, any child over the age of 1, you would never want to give, first of all, the baby, they've got high levels of nitric oxide anyway. So because it is food-based, anytime over the age of 1. Now, a lot of people these days, and rightly concerned that the children are getting adequate nutrition in that little packet of Sunrise. You can make sure they've got all the vitamins and minerals and even the superfood nutrition. It's at the cell level absorbed. So it's an outstanding super nutrition product. And kids love the taste. You'll have to put it away or they'll be wanting one every minute. Sometimes parents put it in the freezer and it's like a little roll pop for them, but they really enjoy it. And you're getting all the nutrition you need. But then the nitric oxide precursor to help the immune system. So, and the Sunset 2 for brain function is very important. So these products working together, like we call them the triangle of health, synergistically. I mean, it takes care of the water part of your body, 70%, and the lipid or fat-based part of your body, all 3 of these products, with just literally super nutrition absorbed at the cell level.
And absorbed at the cell level is really key. And Emily, how old are your students?
So we actually start teaching as young as 2.5 or 3, and most of our kids are in the age range of 10 to 17. We do have a couple of couples that are actually already competing at 6 and 7 years old. So we have the whole spectrum, and I have to tell you, there's nothing more important right now than finding a way to help these kids with their learning. With the remote learning situation, with parents having to also become teachers, there's not anybody that could not benefit from the nitro products. And especially what I love about the Triangle of Health also is that it's so customizable. So you can use the recommended doses and get an incredible result. If you need something in particular, we can help with figuring out what would be the best method to increase the benefits of these products. So for example, you can use the Sunset, which actually has no effect on, cognition. It doesn't make you sleepy. It's, these omega-3s are the best kind of brain food. So, if your child is maybe struggling, there's a lot of different ways that these products can help And the fact that it's 100% natural just relieves the parents of that worry, like, okay, what am I putting into them? What's going to happen later? It just, the results they speak for themselves, and the expectations, it meets all of them. It hits everything on the head.
It's so great to have you come on, especially being in the business of teaching kids one of the most rewarding effects of dance. I mean, it's so wonderful. And then to be able to add this to your school, these products that are safe. And you know what's really great too is if, you know what, customers can try these products and they have a 30-day full return policy. If for any reason, and we haven't had anybody return anything, in fact, just yesterday, one of our master trainers called us, Ruth, she said, can you get me on auto shipment? I want to keep taking these products. So, and that's not unusual, because when you're feeling like they're doing something, you want to stay on them and you do not want to run out. We ran out of ours for almost 2 weeks, didn't we?
Right, and one of the biggest problems we have is the fact that when somebody runs out, they panic.
I know.
Can you get it to me faster?
Do you have some? Could you stock it?
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to lend out ours a little bit, but you know what? It pays off, and the times are crazy today, so when we can all help one another, especially when it comes to the health aspect, because it will help with stress, it helps, and not even though the last two parts of our Lives Rebuilt series have been geared towards athletes, I have a personal passion, because look at the athletes that I'm surrounded with right now. I lived with one for the last 23 years, and I watched him compete. I know the discipline that it takes, and sometimes people don't have that concentration factor. They get sidetracked. But once you concentrate, that's what it takes to be a champion. And guess what? It's no different than becoming a champion in life. Because we have been dished out in the last almost 5 months now, things that have happened in our lives. Everyone's life has been affected. So I agree with Mary Louise when she said it right from the beginning in the show. This was a God thing, because my husband and I have people coming to us all the time wanting us to take a look at this widget, this gadget, or this supplement program that has 90 million products in it, and it's just way too overwhelming, and there's no real science behind it. If you're looking for a go-to product that has the science behind it, the clinical studies, the fact that we are NSF certified, the fact that it's safe, if you're an athlete, you can take it and feel safe. If you're a child, it's so easy to understand from our guest today that even the children can take it. So I could sit here like my husband and talk about this for a couple of hours, or maybe even a couple of days, and we do, because we get in our own conversations. Do you believe this? Do you believe what we have right here in our hands, thanks to Mary Louise? And again, if you want some more documentation, this is Dr. Louis Ignarro. He won the Nobel Prize. This is the book. NO has a double meaning, nitric oxide and/or no more heart disease. So you can get this book. It's on Amazon. It's in a very affordable read in a paperback. But getting back to our guests, we have just a couple of minutes remaining, and let's go around the room here and see what you guys want to say in the remaining couple of minutes, because we've said a lot, but there's always something to jump in there, right?
Well, I'll go first. My passion in life is to be well with every breath of life. I am aging differently on these products, and I'm so thankful to have them in my life, but also the income potential. And I don't know, I didn't know my husband was going to pass away, and where would I be without this, having taken it on as a business? And I had absolutely no experience in sales or marketing, but I have learned it as I've gone along, just with the passion for the products, and I've learned a lot. We're doing everything online, and now I have a passion to help people because they're suffering financially too. And so many people have lost their income, and who knows how many years it's going to take and where the economy is going. But we can create whole new streams of income with this too. And I know Emily's had to close her school for months, and nobody ever expected anything like that. And now with learning that she could build a business with this too. And I learned she has a degree in marketing too. So I've learned a lot from Emily. And like you know, we meet every day with our mastermind group, and all of us are growing and thriving and helping others all over the world.
Yes.
Globally, online, on the internet.
All over the world. And Emily, as she has her business plan right intact. She has her schools that will eventually open up again. But in the meantime, you're working on the mastermind team with us. And boy, are we ever getting some awesome information from Emily on what to do, what not to do. I mean, we're just taking the guesswork on how to get the message out from our hearts about something that we all love, we're all using, and we're hoping that you'll consider it as well. Master Kelly, we have less than 1 minute. Can you go quick?
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Winners never quit and quitters never win. Remember that when you start thinking about building up a championship in your life, whether it be a parent or a professional, follow the rules. Don't ever give up.
That's
this
right.
will give a good reason not to give up.
That's right. That is so true. And we didn't even talk about you being in the dance business for all those years.
I was a professional dancer also.
Exactly.
And I tell you what I saw, I'm glad that I wasn't competing when Emily was competing. Oh my gosh, she would have blown me off the floor. I thought I was good.
And you were and still are. Well, I want to thank you ladies for joining us today and thank my husband for joining us. It's always fun to come here using this platform that goes global. Feel free to share the show, and we'll see you next time on Lives Rebuilt right here on WeBeam TV. Thank you, and God bless everybody. Give these products a try.